I'm not saying this year, but eventually the Toronto Raptors are going to be very, very good again. The front office, Masai Ujiri and company have done a fantastic job rebuilding this roster. They had a great draft. Jacoby Walter in the first round, Jonathan Mobo, first pick of the second round, and then, of course, Jamal Shed. Could be a steal late. We'll see. He's a little undersized. But, of course, they have RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickly, and Scottie Barnes. They bring in a couple of former lottery picks, and, of course, they were lottery picks for a reason. But they have this young big three led by RJ, who's 24 years old. Scottie Barnes comes in at 23 years old. And then IQ is 25 years old, the oldest of the bunch. And these are all their age going into next season. So they're still very young. And let's take a look at them right now. The big three in Toronto, led by RJ Barrett, who was the leading scorer last year, 21.8 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, 4.1 assists in 32 games. So not a full season sample size, but still, I mean, as you can see right there, he can take you down low. He can score off the wing. He can hit the three ball, 39%, which was almost a career high, second best of his career. He also shot 55% from the field, which is very good, and that's because he's elite in transition. I mean, the Warriors play this well. They look like they have a wall. Podziemski stops the ball, and then RJ just sidesteps him and gets it over the incoming Trace Jackson Davis, knocking down the three ball here, as we talked about, 39%, which was almost a career high. Career high in Toronto, we'll say. In New York, he shot 42% from downtown, so a little bit lower, but and again, it was a 32 game sample size, so maybe over a full 82 games he shoots better, maybe he shoots worse. My money would be on worse, but still, I don't want to prey on his downfall. 6'6" with a 6'10 wingspan. You can see why he is a core piece to this Raptors future, and I'm looking forward to watching him play this year, as well as this whole Raptors team, because they could be very good. They could be very sneaky, especially in the Eastern Conference that's not quite as good as the Western Conference. 18.6 points per game, 6.8 assists, 4.8 rebounds in 33 minutes were the numbers last year for Immanuel Quickly, after, of course, coming over to the Raptors in the big OG trade. Came over with RJ Barrett, 42% shooting from the field, 40% from three. So the field goal percentage is not great, but it is what you like to see from downtown. He's a tough guy to guard. Look at the pace right here. The patience, waiting for everything to clear out, and then he just knocks down the three ball. Also, that's part of the reason that the Grizzlies were one of the worst teams in basketball last year, was because of this. That is just bad. But hey, shout out to Quickly for taking advantage of it. Pull up three right here. You can't go under a screen on Quickly. Come on now. Once again, one of the reasons the Grizzlies were one of the worst teams in basketball last year. 42% shooting from the field. That needs to be better. He's known as like the float guy, so I guess that should improve. We'll see. And then you got Scottie Barnes, the big man, the post, point forward, whatever you want to call him. He averaged 20 points a game, 8.2 rebounds, 6.1 assists, and 1.3 steals last year, as well as 1.5 blocks on 48% shooting from the field, 34% from 3 on 5 attempts. Barnes last year was is 6'7". I imagine he hasn't shrunk. 6'7" with a 7'3" wingspan. That's a ridiculous +8 on the wingspan there. So he's kind of a freak of nature. Getting up the court here, Malachi Flynn, Raptors legend, finds him for the easy layup, and then here he is working. If he can develop this, he can become pretty solid. A little mid-range jumper, maybe a little bit of a three ball. His three ball was looking very, very good early on last year. Didn't quite pan out for the full season. Watch him right here. He's going to make Sohan commit before he makes this pass, letting the defense pick what he does. He kicks it early, just going with the flow of the game, not forcing anything, and I really like that out of Scottie Barnes. And then you have the rookies. Jacoby Walter from Baylor. It's a pretty good bet to take a Baylor guard. Usually they have good guards. They haven't exactly turned out fantastic in the NBA so far, but Walter averaged 14.5 points, 4 boards on 38% shooting from the field, 34% from 3. Overall, a really good year. He can make the pass here, you see, in the pick and roll. He can run the pick and roll. He can run the floor, knock down the three ball. He's a great shooter off the move. Bang, as you can see right there. Posting up the smaller Joe Girard. I like that a lot. Little lay. 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. Again, common theme. If you look up and down the Raptors roster, that's a tongue twister right there. You get Jacoby Walter and guys like him with +4, +5. Scottie Barnes with a +8 wingspan. These guys are long. They're athletic. That's what Masai Ujiri loves to do. Watch Walter right here. Take advantage of PJ Hall. Just play with him here. Pause. In the pick and roll, as he doesn't step up high enough, so he's going to knock down the three ball. Now he's going to overhelp, and Jacoby Walter's going to switch directions, get down the lane for the and one. in part of this huge comeback win by, or not win, huge comeback by Baylor. Clemson would hold on though. That's a tough finish right there. Then you have Jonathan Mobo, a guy that is kind of a hybrid forward center, but they don't really know where he's going to play. He's 6'8", 7'2" wingspan, so he's got the measurables. He doesn't have the jump shot. He didn't really shoot threes in college. He's got a little bit of a back-to-the-basket game. I look kind of lucky right there, but hey, I'm not going to judge. 14.2 points per game, 10.6 rebounds, 3.6 assists for Mobo last year at San Francisco. The questions are, of course, he had 0 3-point attempts last year, so that's going to need a change. But he has some good vision, which is something you love to see. Notices he's got the defense right where he wants them. Catches them with their back turn, and that's a nice, should have been an and one, nice backdoor cut for the layup. Actually, I think it was. Obviously, he's a lob threat. He's a great athlete, which is why the Raptors got him early in the second round. I believe he was the first pick of the second round, maybe the second. But anyways, getting downhill right here, as you can see, you can throw it to him, and he's good against the blitz, whereas he can catch it and make a move and score. The question, of course, is what is his position? But once again, against the blitz or against drop coverage, he can catch it, go score, that time with the left. Now he's going to find, once again, a great pass, little whip around pass for the layup there. You also have Jamal Shed, who we talked about earlier, great defender, brings just a great DNA to this team. But yeah, if you've made it this far in the video, make sure to like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. As you can see here, pretty much everybody that watches these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if that is you, go ahead and fix that right now. And with that being said, we're looking for about 200 likes on today's video. And let's go ahead and continue on here. Looking at next up, which is Grady Dick. Now, if you look at his numbers from last year, not fantastic. 8.5 points, 2.2 rebounds, 1.1 assists in 22 minutes. I mean, that's not exactly going to make you fall in love with him and say he's a franchise player, but 43% shooting from the field, 37% from 3 on 4.5 attempts per game. And after the trades, his numbers were even better. 11.5 points a game, 3 rebounds, 45% shooting from the field, and 39% from 3. Those are good numbers from Grady Dick, and I expect them to continue, especially as he might start this year. We'll see where he fits into the rotation, but as his percentages continue to rise, I mean, he's a great shooter at Kansas. He's going to continue that in the modern NBA. And then, of course, a sleeper, and I think Ochai Agbaji is a guy that could make it work for the Toronto Raptors. 6.7 points a game, 3.3 rebounds, 1.3 assists in 25 minutes per. Still, I think, last year he got drafted by the Cavs and traded to the Jazz, so he hasn't had really a stable background, but these efficiencies are just horrible. I mean, he was a great shooter at the University of Kansas, just like Grady Dick. He's got great mechanics. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. I think maybe, once again, a change of scenery here in Toronto, but teams aren't even guarding him on the three-point line. I think he could be a guy that could really help the Raptors as a role player off the bench. But, I mean, obviously, Jonas Valanciunas has been coached not to even step up there. He's very hesitant and then just makes like a half effort. So we'll see what happens. I think Ochai could be a good piece. Like I said, there's a reason Masai Ujiri brought him in. But I think they had a great offseason. Didn't even get a chance to talk about the two elite defensive small guards with Davion Mitchell and Jamal Shed. But y'all let me know your thoughts on the Raptors down below. Make sure to like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. But
subscribe to Backyard Buckets right now!